Okay, time to try to take the stabilizer link off. I've got a 1/2 inch socket on a 3/8 inch ratchet wedged up in there. It's set to loosen. I will be putting the air wrench on the bottom, and hopefully it won't be too gummed up to get the bolt unthreaded. This may be one of those cases where we have to do a lot of back and forth. Okay, stabilizer link is off. There's your rubber bushing and a washer on the top, just under the nut. And then there's another rubber bushing and a washer underneath the stabilizer bar. A spacer, followed by another rubber washer and a rubber bushing. And it fits in a cup that is attached to the lower control arm. And then on the bottom of the lower control arm, there's another rubber bushing and a washer. The other stabilizer link is proving a little bit harder to get off. I had to use a breaker bar to break it, and I used a drill to clean up the threads. Lots of plaster, and I'm doing the tighten, loosen routine. It is loose now, or pretty loose, so I expect it to come off shortly. Okay, I got the top bolt off. And the bushing and the washer, they came off fine. What I'm fighting with now is that little spacer that is in between them. That thing is rusted onto the bolt. So what I'm going to try to do is to clamp a pair of vice grips onto that and turn the wrench. I've already put some plaster on it, but that's not going to be tight enough. You got to really clamp it on. Okay, now we'll try to break that loose with the ratchet. Okay, it is turning. Turning and dropping out are two different things. So I'm going to have to get this to spin enough so that it's free enough. Possibly I can hammer it down with the dead blow hammer. The bushing is now broken loose from the bolt. Really don't have the right angle to swing a hammer at this, but I'm going to give it a try. I think what is going to be the ticket on this one is to get my air hammer out and put the nut back on so that I protect the top of the threads and just air hammer it out. But in order to do that, I have to lower the lift a little bit. Rather than lower the lift to get at that, I'm just going to have to put it back up again in order to take the stabilizer bar off. I just decided to get on a ladder and get to a position where I could use the air hammer effectively. I made short work of that. I should be able to pull it out now. I don't know if I mentioned that the stabilizer link bolts were all 9/16. But the ones that hold the stabilizer itself on are 1/2 inch. And I'm going after these with a manual wrench because of the experience with breaking off the bolt on the brake distribution block, and it's probably a good thing I did. I've already hit those with Blaster. It's not coming loose with a 3/8 inch wrench. I'm going to go get the 1/2 inch breaker bar. And we'll give this a shot. That did it. And the one in the back. That one seemed to be a little bit easier. I think maybe I can do those with the air ratchet, not the impact wrench, but the air ratchet at this point. So I am going to hook that up and give that a try. Those are pretty long bolts. Don't want this falling on me, so I'm going to loosen this one most of the way and leave it up there. Oops, came all the way out. I want to hold that so it doesn't fall on me whenever I take the other side out. So I'm going to go after the other side, same process. Use a breaker bar to get them started and the air wrench to take them the rest of the way out. Okay, the stabilizer bar is just being held on by a couple threads on the front and on both sides. I'm going to take those off. Okay, before we go any further with this, it's important to note that when the stabilizer is in the correct position, the tab on the end that takes the bolt for the stabilizer link has a little bit of a bend up. So that's the way it goes back in. I don't know if you'll be able to tell it from the video, but you can see there's a little bit of a redness in those mounts. Those are poly mounts, so they look to be in fairly good shape. I may not need to replace those.